hoping to get away with no light again today, just because it is still a little bit hot through here. So what we're gonna do is gonna get the knee up, push into a lunge, center yourself in a nice single leg hip hinge, and open up for the hip airplane. Close it up, and then bring the opposite knee up. From there, I'm gonna move back because that's all the space I have. We're gonna do one more per leg. And last one here. Okay, we're also gonna get in some small little arm circles. So we're gonna go forward, starting nice and small, and growing. Get as big and as wide as you can. Full range of motion. And we're gonna go ahead and start backwards, tiny little circles. And slowly increasing the range of motion, controlled, until you get all the way out. At that point, you can throw a little bit of momentum into your circles. All right, so I've planned this out so that the 2 dumbbells that we're gonna need, we're gonna use them consistently throughout the next whole block. If you have just the one, no worries. You can goblet hold the squat. And for the next exercise that we'll do, I'll kind of guide you from there. All right, so first and foremost, we're gonna go for a squat with both dumbbells on our shoulders. Try to get this as comfy as you possibly can. I find that digging them right into the shoulders works fairly well. And here we go for a set of 15. So really pushing the knees out, getting as much depth as you possibly can. Pushing the knees over the toes, pushing through the feet, keeping the chest up. And elbows up, so those dumbbells don't fall down on you. We've got a last 2 to go. Perfect. Bring those down. Give me 2 seconds. My laptop seems to want to do all sorts of saving itself from viruses. Okay, for this next exercise, we're going to line up on the ground. We've tried it once, long ago. It is a floor press. So if you're doing this with 1 dumbbell, just go 1 hand at a time. Otherwise, you can go for both. So laying flat on the floor, you can either extend your legs or have them bent like this if your low back is comfier. You're gonna get your shoulders set down. You'll have a slight, small little arch through the rib cage, a little bit. You're gonna get all the way down with the elbows to the ground. Exhale and press up. If you're doing this with 1 dumbbell, same situation. You can either have your empty hand up or on the rib cage, but same thing, just coming down and pressing. The angle that you're looking for with the elbow, you don't want the weights to come up like this because then your shoulders are really, really high. You're looking to keep the shoulders down, so you're looking to get that elbow at about a 45-degree angle away from the body. So here we go. I'm assuming our weights are pretty light. So we're gonna go for a nice set of 15 right off the bat. If you're doing these 1 arm at a time, try to speed through 15 on both sides. In the meantime, we'll take our time with some nice slow reps moving with the 2 dumbbells. Inhale, bring it down. Exhale, pressing up. So really moving with the breathing here. Remembering the shoulders down and that nice 45-degree angle for the elbows. We have our last 4 to go. Last one. Very good. Feel free to bring the weights down. If you are doing both arms separately, take your time. That's a lot of reps to get done. We're now going to go ahead into a seated position. You can go ahead and cross your legs for this one, or you can kind of sit on your heels, whichever one you find most productive for you. But out of this position, we're going for a shoulder press. So both the weights will come up and we're pressing overhead. So if we're doing 2 dumbbells together, we're going to go for a set of 12. If you're doing 1 arm at a time, go for 10 per arm. So here we go. Chest is up, core is nice and tight. Pressing overhead for 12. Halfway through. 3, 2, 1. Very good. Bring the weights down to the ground. Take a second. That's going to be our block entirely with these 2 dumbbells. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick breather, grab a quick sip of water. Okay, and we're right back at it. So we're going to hop up and get those squats going. So with these ones, looking to make it a little bit harder, we're going to take our time on the way down and explode to the top for the same set. This time we're going to go for 12 though. So here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Explode out of the bottom, squeeze every muscle tight. Almost there now. Last 4. And last 2. Perfect. Weights come down. We're going to make our way down towards the floor. And here we're doing our floor presses. Get nice and set up, nice and comfortable. Again, you can bend the knees if it's comfier for the low back. If you keep the legs straight, it kind of activates the core, works with it a little bit more. So here we go for our set of 15. Exhale, press. Inhale, elbows to the ground. Last 5 to go. Very good. Bringing it down. Take a second. That was a chest press. We're now going to an overhead press. So if your shoulders do need a bit of a breather, go on ahead and take it. And readjust whatever weights you'll need for this set. So with this one, if your weights are really, really light, and I mean like 12 reps, 15 reps really feels like nothing, you're gonna double up a little bit with a quick pause. So from the bottom, you're gonna press up, come halfway down, press up, and then come down. And that's just one rep, okay? So my weights are pretty substantial, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it once or twice just to get the point across, after which I'm switching back to just the huge overhead press. Otherwise, if the weights are nice and light, feel free to stick to it. Here we go. Press, halfway down, press, all the way down, press, halfway down, press, all the way down. That was just 2. 10 more for those doing the double ups. Last 5. Last one. Whew. All right, very well done. Take a second. Relax those shoulders because we're gonna need them for the squats as well. And as soon as we feel like the shoulders aren't giving off that cry of help me, we'll get right back into the squats. We'll find a really, really comfortable position, as comfortable as possible with the dumbbells. We're gonna get through our last set of all of these shoulder heavy movements. All right, so try to get as cozy as you can. Here we are for our last set of 15. Feel free to go super slow on the way down and explode to the top. Otherwise, just going for nice normal squats, focusing on really good form. Almost there. Last 3. Last one. Very good. Weights down. Gonna come down to our mats. Take a second here, catch your breath. If you are feeling any weirdness through the shoulder blade as you're pressing down on the floor, it's a little bit understandable. The shoulder blade is kind of trying to move while pressing down on the floor. Bear with me with that. And here we go. Last set of 15. Legs straight or bent is fine. Here we go. Exhale, press. Inhale, bring it down. Five more to go. One last one. And bring the weights down. Come on up. Take a quick breather. Whew. This is going to be our last fairly shoulder heavy exercise. So we'll enjoy it as we can. I find that this one of all the ones is really, really shoulder heavy and intense. So we're going to talk ourselves up in our minds. Try to make this as easy as possible. We're going to go for a nice clean set of 12. Feel free to double up with the press, halfway down press as one rep. Again, if the weights are really light. Otherwise, here we go. Halfway there. 3. Well done. All right, weights out of the way. Moving on to our next set. You can keep using your dumbbells. Nothing wrong with that. If you happen to have a kettlebell, this is where one becomes really, really handy. We're gonna do some kettlebell swings after a couple exercises. So if you have them laying around, cool. If not, when the time comes, I'm gonna demonstrate how you can use your dumbbells perfectly fine as kettlebells if you don't have them. Alternatively, I suppose if you have like a really nice heavy purse or backpack laying around, that could work too, but no need to rush and like fill one up or anything like that. The dumbbells will do just fine. So for our next set, we're gonna go for some nice single leg hinges. So the same ones that we were pushing into the airplanes with in the warm up, but this time we're not opening up the hips at all. They're gonna stay squared off towards the ground. This is where you can grab a dumbbell or a kettlebell. And what we're gonna do is for our first set, we're gonna try holding the dumbbell or kettlebell in the same side as the foot we have stabilizing in front of us. We're gonna switch it up for the next set. With the hand, hold on to the hip. It'll be a really good indicator of where your hip is while you're doing the movement. Here we go, next set of 12. You're looking for balance. Once you've achieved that, you're looking for a really big stretch in the back of the thigh on the supporting leg. On the way up, you want to squeeze your butt, and you should really feel it nice and tight through the whole range of motion. We have last 5 to go. Keep the weight as close to your front leg as you can. It'll encourage the stretch. One last one. Very good. Switching sides. And here we go, set of 12. Really making sure that the hips are squared off towards the ground and keeping that weight pretty close to the body. Last 6. 3, 2, and 1. Very good. We're gonna go ahead and double this up with a nice, really, really stiff leg hip hinge. So typically I will always say to bend the knees a little bit as you're heading down. With this one, we're gonna try to bend the knees as little as possible. So really, really exposing the hamstrings or back of the thighs to a really big stretch. Feel free to double up and grab 2 dumbbells for this one. We're gonna go for a nice set of 10. Here we go, back nice and flat. Knees as straight as you can have them without being locked out. Push the hips back. Big stretch through the back of the thigh. And squeezing with the butt to get back up again. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. So lots of very hamstring and glute heavy exercises there. We're gonna move on to the kettlebell swings. So again, if you have a kettlebell, amazing, it'll make this a little bit easier. Otherwise, you can use your dumbbell. And what we're gonna do is keeping the chest up. You're just gonna get a bit of a swing going, squeezing the glutes. And really, you're trying to keep as upright as possible. This is completely glute driven. And the arms should be doing nothing. They're just the pendulum. Really snap up quick with the glutes. We're gonna keep this up for the next 20 seconds. So make sure you're breathing well, squeezing the glutes nice and tight. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Bring that all on down. We're gonna take a second to sip some water. And this set with the single leg hinges, we're gonna grab the weight on the opposite hand of whatever foot we have stabilizing forward. The reason we're doing this is just to kind of experiment and see what happens to your balance and your weight when the weight switches hands. So if you notice anything, make note, and I'll chat about it at the very, very end of class. So here we go for a set of 12, holding on to the hip with the opposite hand. Same thing, keeping the weight nice and close. Big stretch in the hamstring. Last 4 to go. Last one. Good. Go ahead and switch sides. Halfway there. Fantastic. All done with those. Take a second. You're going to go ahead and double up, grab an extra dumbbell for the next set. We are going to really keep the legs as straight as possible. Slight bend in the knees just so they're not locked out. But we're really trying to push that booty back on this set. 3, 2, 1. Set of 15 this time. Perfect, we're about halfway through. What I want you guys to do is tilt your toes inwards towards each other. It will look like this. Super weird, I know, bear with me. We're gonna finish off our last 7 reps. And what you're gonna notice is just shifting the toes like this opens up more of the inner thigh muscles. Just some nice work here. Last 3. And last one. Fantastic. Feel free to drop down the weight for just a second. As for our last exercise, we're going to be going for some nice kettlebell swings or dumbbell swings, whatever you've got, and we're going to be pushing it for 35 seconds. Here we go. Grab on tight. Find a position where you can stay nice and upright, and the hands are just a pendulum. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Really swift with the hips. Core is nice and tight. Well done, everyone. It's a tiny, tiny movement where the chest is staying super upright. 20 seconds left. Last 10 seconds to go. Hang tight, keep breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly bring those weights on down. We're going to take it easy before our last and final set of this block. Grab a quick sip of water. off this last set. And for this last one, I want you to go ahead and pick whatever hand you would much rather hold the weight in for the single leg hip hinges. And here we go, nice set of 12. Making sure the hips are very, very nice and squared off to the ground. Especially if you're holding the weight contralaterally. Should be our last 2. 1. I'm gonna go ahead and switch feet. Get nice and stable, square off the hip. Here we go, set of 12. Almost there. Last 4. And last 1. Perfect. All right, take a second. Grab an extra dumbbell if you're looking for that extra bit of challenge. For this set, right from the get-go, we're tilting the toes in. Not too much, I would say 45 degrees or less. And here we go with our little duck-footed hip hinges. I'm gonna go for a set of 15. We're really pushing the hips back, and that's when you'll really feel the inner thigh muscles around the groin area kick in to help. You don't have to push it too low if you're feeling them quite a bit. Just focus on maintaining a flat back and squeezing the glutes to get back up again. 6 last ones to go. One last one. Perfect. All right, feel free to drop the weight down for a second. We're gonna catch our breath. And we're gonna finish off with our last set of swings. This time we're gonna aim for a good 40 seconds. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a grip. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Nice and snappy, and chest up. We're halfway there, 20 seconds to go. Here we go, 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amazing. All right. For the next little bit, take a nice breather, quick sip of water, and grab a pair of dumbbells, or separate your bigger dumbbells, as we're gonna need a set of smaller weights for these next exercises. That being said, if you feel comfortable working on your biceps and triceps with a heavier weight, feel free not to disassemble yours. Totally up to you. But now we're isolating the smaller muscles. All right. Once we're ready, we're gonna go for some nice bicep curls. You're going to glue your elbows, not quite to the sides, just in front of you. And this is where we're gonna be doing our curls from. 3, 2, 1, here we go. With these smaller exercises, feel free to inhale and exhale as you see fit. And we're here for a set of 20, so quite a little bit to go. 10. Last 4. 3, 2, and 1. Very good. We're going to go ahead and grab a dumbbell or a plate, whatever works for you. I'm actually going to sit down just so you can see my whole body better. You can sit on your heels to do this, totally fine. Otherwise, you can just stay standing. But you're going to hold your dumbbell kind of behind you, core nice and tight. We're going to lower the dumbbell and press overhead for a nice 2-armed tricep extension. Here we go for a set of 15. Try to keep the elbows facing forward until you lock out. And try to keep the elbows glued to the side of your head, more or less. Almost there. That's a good burn. 5 last ones. 3, 2, 1. Whoo! Feel free to bring that down. We're going to work on the forearms next. So, to avoid needing a chair, we're going to go ahead and pop down onto kind of sitting on our heels. If you do have a chair around, feel free to use it. It would be pretty nice and comfy. Otherwise, you're going to grab 2 fairly small weights, so 5 pounds or less. You're going to line up your wrists so that they fall kind of over the knees. And what we're going to do is we're just going to curl the weights up in towards our body. And what that's going to do is it's going to work on the inner part of the forearm here. So keep that going. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny movement that gets a lot done. We have 5 more to go. 2, and 1. All right. Quick tip, if you're working with dumbbells, amazing, you will have no problems. If you're working with plates like I am, spread your fingers out along the back as you curl. I find that that's going to be a much better grip than trying to grip into the little holes of the plates. So yeah, just depending on what you've got. We're going to go ahead and get right back up again. These are nice small muscles. Recover fairly quickly, so we're going to jump right back into the bicep curls. Here we go for a set of 20. You're looking to make these harder. On the way down, come nice and slow and controlled. Here we go. Try to keep the chest up, shoulders down, nice and relaxed. Ten down, 10 to go. Keep breathing. Three, 2, and 1. Very good. Bring it down. Again, I'm going to come to seated for this one, but feel free to stand for the tricep extension, whatever works for you best. We're going to get nice and set, core nice and tight. Here we go for a set of 15. Last 6, hang tight. Keep up the breathing. Last 2, one last one. There we go. Take a second with those triceps. I find that of all the exercises, this is the one that kicks my butt the most. So take a second between this and the next one if you need it. We're gonna get nice and set for this tiny, tiny, tiny little exercise for the forearms. And because it's so small and the weight is so light, try to exert as much control over the curl as possible. So try to make it look beautiful and move as smoothly as possible. Here we go, set of 15. Almost there now. 5 to go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. We're gonna take a little bit of a longer break between now and our third set. So take a second. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit of the forearms. Grab a quick sip of water if you need it. All right, here we go. Final set, final little bit of work. And then we're gonna finish off with a nice stretch for all those tiny, tiny muscles we just worked. So setting up for the bicep curl, set of 20, shoulders down, here we go. Again, lower down slowly if you're looking for a little bit more burn. Adding to that, bring the weight up as fast as you can from the bottom. Adding a little bit of explosive power adds a lot of difficulty. Last 8. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm gonna set those down. I'm gonna take a quick second. We're gonna hop right into those tricep extensions. Get yourself nice and set, core nice and tight. Finishing off with a set of 15 of these guys. Here we go. Whew, there's that burn. Hang tight, we're almost there. We got last 5 to go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Bringing those weights down. Give those triceps a second. We're going to finish off with our last and smallest exercise for the forearms. Get nice and set. We're just going for 15 of these. And as we're going through these, try to start slowing down your breathing. Last 5 to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. Feel free to get these weights out of the way. We're all done with that nice, heavy, heavy weighted stuff. We are going to go ahead and stretch out the forearms first. So you can twist the wrist a little bit. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab onto the palm really, really gently and pull the fingertips back. Really, really gently. We just worked the muscle. You might feel a little bit tender and a little bit pumped. We're going to go ahead and switch sides. So flicking the wrist of this one, opening up the palm, and gently, gently, gently taking those fingertips back. Okay, we're going to gently grab the elbow with the opposite hand. We're just going to pull back and over to the side, really, really gently. It's gonna get a little bit of that tricep. We're gonna go ahead and lengthen, switch sides. Very good. We're gonna get a little bit of the quads stretched out. So for this one, I'm gonna roll up my mat just a little bit. Get a nice cozy spot for my knees. I'm gonna get 1 foot forward. And with that back leg, we're gonna bring up the toes. Before you come completely upright, really try to let that stretch sink in. It's a pretty big one. And then you can start to straighten up and squeeze your butt forward. This will increase the stretch. Gently bring that foot down. We're going to switch sides. Same thing, catch your balance. And then as you sink into the stretch, feel free to straighten up. Pelvic tilt, squeeze the butt forward. All right, for our last stretch, we're gonna go ahead and have a seat on the mat with the legs outstretched. We're gonna get a bit of a combination of a calf stretch, hamstring, and upper back stretch. So you're gonna come not all the way as far as you can go, but just most of the way. And we're just gonna sit tight. So if you can grab onto something like the ankles, your sock, something that will keep you here, that's perfect. We're gonna stay and breathe. And if you've been really, really, really good with the posture this whole workout, this should be a really nice relaxing stretch for the back. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna flex the feet as hard as you possibly can. If you can reach the toes, go ahead and grab onto them. And this is gonna be where the calf stretch comes in. So really pulling those toes back. And even if you're still holding onto the ankles, that's perfectly fine. Just pull those toes back towards you as much as you can. We're gonna try to do that and try to get our forehead to our knees. And keep flexing the feet towards you. Take 2 more last breaths. And release.